thanks to you, Melinda. Would you please make welcome now Alan Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ray. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful that everyone's here. It's wonderful you've come from a long way, but this ought to be on national television. This day should be shared with all of Australia. We are honouring a person who, we use these words loosely, an iconic figure. We celebrate in schools Banjo Patterson and Henry Lawson, and the kids read the poetry. And the purpose of bush balladeering was where the poet was able to tell a story in language which was understandable to those who were reading it. This man is the equivalent, the musical equivalent over 7 decades of Henry Lawson and Banjo Patterson. This is the musical balladeer of Australia. This is the man who was friends to truck drivers, to people in the bush who could identify with them and could incorporate in that music the sentiments, expressions, the feelings, the disappointments, the doubts, the hope and the happiness that they were sharing every day of their lives. Now, on top of that, what needs to be understood and isn't commonly understood across Australia is that this man, in a musical sense, set records that will never, ever be equalled. Yes, in 1957, he was the first Australian. Now, you've got to think of 57. There are people here who could remember that. This was when, as a nation, we were somewhat intimidated about being Australian. So the ABC News was read by a person with a Pommy accent. And the hit parade was dominated by voices from America and from Britain. We weren't quite up to all of that. And along came the boy from Kempsey. In 1957, the first Australian ever to have a #1 song in the hit parade. Quite extraordinary. That was 57. How big was the hit for tiny little Australia? So big that in 1959 and 1960, it was translated into foreign languages and became the #1 hit in Germany, Belgium and Austria. Slim Dusty from Kempsey. These stories need to be told. This man is the only musician in the world now. The Beatles, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Whitney Houston, the only artist in the world to record 100 consecutive albums with the same music company. And the people from EMI are here today, I know, which is quite an extraordinary statistic. 37 Golden Guitar Awards. I mean, people in this industry give their eye teeth to win 1 or 2 or 3. 37 golden guitars. Unprecedented, will never, ever be equalled. You think of the size of Australia, and you remember that marvellous festival, the Olympic Games in 2000. The world was watching. Waltzing Matilda is the national musical symbol of our country. Who was asked to sing Waltzing Matilda at the closing ceremony to hundreds of millions of people around the world? The boy from Kempsey, Slim Dusty, and 110,000 people at the Olympic Stadium joined him in that song. It is extraordinary to think that, you know, when Space Shuttle Columbia, this is the international nature of this man. When Space Shuttle Columbia passed across Australia on its maiden flight in 1981, the world was watching by television, by commentary, and what song was played to commemorate that movement? In Space, Slim Dusty, and the Pub with No Beer. These are extraordinary achievements by one simple, beautiful human being that deserve to be acknowledged. It's the reason we're here. It's the reason people come with the sense of devotion you are showing today. And one thing is for sure, wherever the history of Australia is written, and wherever the history of Australian music is written, there will be an indelible spot in that history for David Kirkpatrick. And to you, Joy, and to all the family, this is a day of legitimate and immense pride. We're just honoured and privileged that we've been able to share it with you. I congratulate you.